There's a new vaccine out to protect people who are 60 or older. It's for RSV, a common respiratory virus, and it tends to hit the very young and the very old the hardest.
We're noticing that elderly people, patients 60 plus, can really have dangerous complications from RSV.
Why you should get the RSV vaccine and how it interacts with flu and COVID shots, all on today's Story of the Day.
Support for Story of the Day is provided by Renew Architecture and Design, designing camps, custom homes, and more throughout NCPR's listening region. Details at renewarchitecture.com.
Hey, I'm David Sommerstein. It's Tuesday, September 5th, the beginning of life after Labor Day. First up, the New York State Board of Elections says it's received reports from over a dozen counties that people are impersonating election officials. WSKG's Von Golden has more.
The State Board of Elections Director of Public Information, Kathleen McGrath, says the impersonators are going door to door, confronting registered voters at their homes.
They are demanding to see the voter's license, their identification, and the individuals claim that this particular voter is committing a crime by being registered to vote in multiple places in New York State.
McGrath says in each case they've seen, the Board of Elections has been able to verify that the voter was properly registered. The state's data just hadn't been updated to reflect the person moving from an old address to a new one. She says while the reports are coming in from a variety of counties across the state, they do have a pattern.
It's certainly appearing to be a coordinated effort by folks. We haven't been able to entirely confirm a group. There are suspicions of groups that have concerns with the New York voter rolls.
McGrath says if you or someone you know encounters suspicious activity, ask for their identification, don't give away your own personal details, and report any incidents to local law enforcement as well as your local Board of Elections. In Vestal, I'm Vaughn Golden for North Country Public Radio.
Amidst the ongoing nurse shortage, Canton Potsdam Hospital is now offering extra pay to nurses who pick up extra shifts on the medical and surgical floors. As WWNY reports, the change was prompted by an incident at the hospital in August. According to CPH's nurses union, a nurse quit on the spot because her floor was understaffed, and she felt patient care and her license could be at risk. Last week, the nurses union met with St. Lawrence Health. Management proposed the extra pay incentive for nurses to pick up the shifts. The nurses union agreed to the incentive. Union spokesperson Susan Creighton-Quinnell told WWNY that the extra pay will help immediately increase staff, but that the incentive is a short-term fix for the ongoing nursing shortage. Respiratory syncytial virus, or RSV, can cause coughing, sneezing, difficulty breathing, and high fever. And it's especially hard on the very young and the old. So there's a new vaccine out for people 60 years and older. Kinney Drugs president John Marafa spoke with Champlain Valley reporter Kara Chapman about the vaccine.
Can you talk about, the work that went into developing the RSV vaccine, and what did scientists do to make sure that it's safe?
With regards to all vaccines, I don't think RSV is any different. Every time a vaccine kind of comes to the new healthcare space, the FDA is responsible for examining all the data. They're required to look at the safety and efficacy of each vaccine. Manufacturers are not permitted to distribute the vaccine until the FDA releases it. And then the FDA has to review all of the manufacturer's test results that include sterility, purity, potency, and then they essentially perform confirmatory testing to make sure that the vaccine is doing what it's supposed to do.
And are there any side effects to watch out for that kind of came out of, those trials and that research?
The same side effects that happen with most vaccines. So some injection site redness, some pain at the injection site, some mild to moderate, headaches, but nothing major that's kind of alarming.
I've heard the vaccine is coming out in September. How can people get it once it's available?
What we're doing is on our kinneydrugs.com website, patients can go on and sign up kind of for information. So as information progresses, we will alert patients of it. Right now, what we're waiting for, the vaccine has been approved. There's 2 formulations out there of the vaccine. It is now permitted for pharmacists to give in New York State. So we'll start to see some uptick in people's responses. So the manufacturers, the distributors, everybody kind of coming together to make sure that the vaccine is widely available. The best course of action for anybody interested in getting the vaccine is to really spend some time on kinneydrugs.com and sign up for our health alerts, which would include information around RSV and when the vaccine is available. One of the things, Kara, that we're not going to do is we're not going to open up appointments until we have vaccine in our possession, because we really want to make sure that we have it. And then as soon as we have it, we'll open appointments that same day, because it's still unknown yet as to when we will receive it.
I'm wondering, so with the vaccine rollout, is it mostly concentrated on pharmacies like Kinney, or can people also get it like through their healthcare provider or like local health departments?
It's really going to depend on the individual provider if they're going to be able to stock vaccine and actually administer the vaccine. I can tell you from a Kinney perspective and a pharmacy perspective, we will have this in every one of our Kinney drugs across New York and Vermont. I can't speak for the other providers out there.
And I know, because I've, been covering COVID the last few years, like when the first COVID vaccines kind of came onto the scene, the appointments booked up like that, like super quickly. So do you anticipate demand for the RSV vaccine is also going to be high, or is the word kind of still spreading about it?
I think that the education piece still needs to happen first. And then I think we'll start to see the vaccine appointments start to uptick and really get people vaccinated. And it really is going to depend on the season that we have, right? A lot of vaccines are seasonality based on, what's happening with flu. But I look at it from my perspective. If I were 60 plus, I don't know that I would take that chance when you have a vaccine that's available to protect you. So I think as soon as the vaccine is available, I do believe people that are eligible for the vaccine should go out there and get it.
Talking about, seasonal viruses and that kind of thing, we've had the flu shot for a very long time. The COVID vaccine is also on the list of recommended seasonal vaccines. Now we have RSV. So what are the recommendations for older adults as far as getting those 3 shots and maybe the order they get them or how they should kind of space them out?
The recommendation from all of the healthcare providers and the CDC and the FDA is really for everybody to get the 3 vaccines. So flu shot for sure, COVID, the new updated COVID vaccine, and then the RSV vaccine. As for, when to get them, the CDC has also stated that RSV is safe to get with other vaccines. The problem that I think people are going to face is, do they want to wait for the RSV vaccine to become available, or do they want to get their flu and COVID? It's all going to come down to a timing issue of when the individual patient wants to get their vaccine, but they are safe to get together.
Right. And Kinney is going to have like COVID and flu shots alongside RSV available.
Correct. Yep. We predominantly are expecting to see an influx in flu like we do every year, right? Flu has kind of been the standard vaccine, so we can anticipate and kind of plan for flu, and we think that RSV will come shortly behind that. And flu is available today. Flu shots are available today in all of our Kinneys, especially the high dose, which is the most preferred for elderly patients.
That was Kinney Drugs President John Marafa speaking with Champlain Valley reporter Kara Chapman. We have more news all the time at our website, ncpr.org. Music today by Christopher Watts and Danny Thomas, both from Canton. I'm David Summerstein, North Country Public Radio.